بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومولاه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. نواصل الحديث إن شاء الله تعالى في أمر ما يحببنا في كتاب الله تعالى. We continue إن شاء الله تعالى to cover some of the incentives and the things that would make the Qur'an beloved to our heart. We mentioned how the Qur'an is كما ذكر أهل العلم تحلية بعد تخلية. As we mentioned yesterday, the correlation between Siyam and Qur'an. Fasting is a school of discipline. الصيام هذا يربي. It gives the discipline of staying away from all the prohibitions and giving up the things even that are lawful and loved to oneself, and yet you're giving them up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake as a form of worship. وهذه تخلية. Quran comes to replace what you gave up with the nur and the guidance and the beauty and the iman in your heart for giving up that which you are lawful to have, let alone the things that are haram for you to give up altogether. فالقرآن من هذا الباب من معوضات على الخير أو معوضات بالخير. The Quran comes to replace you with that which is all beneficial and all good and all righteous. Al-Quran also is كما قال الحسن البصري هو رسائل من رب العالمين. These are messages, literally. Allah Ta'ala spoke those words. هو كلامه. كما قال سبحانه وتعالى وإن أحد من المشركين استجارك فأجره حتى يسمع كلام الله. These are the words of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if one of the polytheists seeks your protection, then grant him protection until he hears the words of Allah. These are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. حتى يسمع كلام الله. قال الحسن البصري. الحسن البصري goes on to say, if you wanted to speak to Allah, you wanted the space where you directly speak to Allah, go into a salah, enter into the prayer. Because as-salah هي دعاء. يعني one of the attributes of the prayer is a form of supplication to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فأنت تكلم الله سبحانه وتعالى إذا دخلت في صلاة. But if you wanted Allah Ta'ala to speak to you instead, then read the Quran. ومن أراد أن يكلمه الله تعالى فليقرأ كتابه سبحانه وتعالى. Then Allah Ta'ala is speaking directly to you. ورسائل الله سبحانه وتعالى الهدف منها الالتزام بها. The essence of any of the messages that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran is for you and I to adhere to adopt it as way of clearing, guiding ourselves on those three dimensions. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala vertically, with the people, when it comes to our behavior horizontally, and with ourselves when it comes to the depth of it. فهي على نواحي ثلاث. كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى هدي له يا أيها الناس قد جاءكم موعظة من ربكم وشفاء لما في الصدور وهدى ورحمة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the Quran. Not only is it a healing for that heart of yours. Whenever you are dealing with any of the diseases of the heart, the cure cannot be from anywhere else but from the words of Allah. شفاء لما في الصدور. Categorically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it to where it is categorically a healing agent. The book of Allah ta'ala is. Not only that, but it is also a guidance for you to adopt on all levels. If you wanted to excel when it comes to your behavior towards people, the Quran will guide you to that level. If you wanted to excel with your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the level of your acts of worship, the Quran will guide you there. And it is a mercy, meaning you generate hasanat, and hasanat that would earn you the mercy of Allah, that the Prophet ﷺ says, it is only through the mercy of Allah ta'ala that people will enter Jannah, not because of their deeds. لا أحد يدخل الجنة بعمله قالوا ولا أنت يا رسول الله. He says, he says, no one will enter Jannah except by the mercy of Allah. They said, even you, Ya Rasulullah? He says, not even I. وَهُدَى وَرَحْمَةً. And it is a mercy that we are all seeking, through which Allah Ta'ala will grant us al-Jannah bi-idnihi subhanahu. So the Quran is the speech of Allah. It is the healing. It is the guidance. لما سئلت عائشة رضي الله تعالى عنها عن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم الذي هو أسوتنا عليه الصلاة والسلام قالت كان خلقه القرآن. So when Aisha was asked to describe the Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, who embodied literally the model after which we ought to emulate, that is the model to emulate, Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم. She described him and she says his character is Al-Quran, meaning whether that is with Allah, he took that from the Quran. With the people, he took that from the Quran. With himself, that is in the Quran. All of it is in the Quran. كان خلقه القرآن. نسأل الله تعالى أن يرزقنا وإياكم خلق القرآن. ويسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى to grant us the character of the Quran. القرآن كما قال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم is a source of good deeds. Every letter you recite, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala record for you the basis of 10 good deeds. The basis. And it may very well escalate to 700 folds to beyond that, based on the sincerity that the heart comes, by which you come into the Quran. بقدر إقبالك وصدقك مع الله سبحانه وتعالى يضاعف لك الأجر من 10 إلى 700 ضعف إلى أضعاف ذلك. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يضاعف لمن يشاء. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can multiply many folds based on the sincerity of the heart when you come and recite Al-Quran. Al-Quran, when it comes to the Day of Judgment, أن الناس يكونوا في منازلهم في الجنة. نسأل الله تعالى أن ينزلنا وإياكم منازل العليين. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us the highest stations in Al-Jannah. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that a person will be called the people of the Quran. And based on their relationship with the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have a person recite, and he will be told, recite and rise and ascend in your stations. And he says that your station is going to be decided based on the last ayah that you were consistent with in the life of this world. فَإِنَّ مَنْزِلَكَ عِنْدَ آخِرِ آيَةٍ كُنْتَ تَقْرَأُهَا. And this is, subhanallah, all of it related to Al-Quran. وأختم بأن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم ذكر أن صاحب القرآن يلبس تاج. That what the people of the Quran will be also given, not only the stations based on their relationship with the Quran, but they will be also given a crown specifically and exclusively for the people of the Quran. Not only that, but those who have the Quran memorized, that would be the best gift to be given to their parents. فَيُلْبَسُ أَبَوَاهُ حُلَّتَيْنِ لَا تَقُومُ لَهُمَا الدُّنْيَا. يقول صلى الله عليه وسلم. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also grant his parents a garment. They will be given clothing from Al-Jannah. He says sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, should a person come with the whole wealth of the whole world, this whole materialistic world, would not come anywhere close to that garment and that outfit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give to the parents. This works both ways. The best gift that a person would give to his parents is for you to memorize the Qur'an. On the other hand, the best gift the parent would ever give their kids is to have them memorize also the Qur'an. It works both ways. It works for the parents, it works also for the kids. فنسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعلنا وإياكم من أهل القرآن ويرزقنا وإياكم العلم النافع والعمل الصالح. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين.